There we go. Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everybody. I'm doing a live review of Wrath or Clash of the Titans and Wrath of the Titans. The Clash of the Titans is the remake with Sam Worthington, Liam Neeson, Daniel Houston, Alexa Davalos, Ralph Fiennes.
Contact or device do you want to call?
None.
I heard you ask for none, but I can't find that.
Alexa, shut up. Thank you. As I was saying, before I said her name, the actress who played Andromeda has the same name as her. So, yeah. You also have, or in the first Clash of the Titans movie, had one of my favorite actors, Peter Pasthwaite, or Pastlethwaite. It's hard to pronounce his name, but he is such a great actor. Played in movies like Dragonheart, Lost World, Brassed Off. He played as Perseus's father, or mortal father, the one who found him. Now, objectively speaking, these movies they have flaws. They could be a lot better. Happy Dinosaur 8000, good to see you. That's like how in Twister, how Bill Paxton played Bill. Yeah, I know, right? But anyway, these movies do have objective flaws. The digital character of Medusa in Clash of the Titans was not done very well. You could tell she was a full-blown digital character. And I feel that they could have done a lot better with that one. I mean, those demons that or the Hades demons that were flying around pestering Perseus when he was carrying her head, those looked even better than Medusa. So Medusa was not done very well. I mean, the character and the action sequences, that was done very well. But her digital self was not done very well. I feel that it could have been done way better. The Scorpiuk battle scenes was very cool. They actually, I like those ones a lot. The whole premise of Clash of the Titans, when I saw it in theaters, I thought was very good. Gemma Arterton is freaking smoking hot. And she was like one of the characters that I focused on the most in the first movie. So Medusa was a cartoon in the remake. To be fair, Medusa was technically a cartoon in the original. Yeah. But also, they did have a French model who actually played Medusa for this movie. Her face is shown in the more human-looking face of Medusa. Now, one of the things I did like about this movie was Sam Worthington. I actually like him as an actor. This was when he was really starting to rise in Hollywood. Whatever happened to Gemma? Honestly, I think I've seen her in a couple other things here and there. I mean, she was in the Hansel and Gretel movie with Jeremy Renner. She played Gretel, and that was a freaking awesome movie. I like the unrated edition myself. But yeah, Gemma Arterton is one of the hottest celebrities that I've seen. I mean, she's just got that kind of divine beauty about her when it comes to playing in movies like Clash of the Titans, where she played Io. Now, this movie isn't 100% faithful to Greek mythology because the Kraken, for one, is not Greek myth. That's Norse myth. Norse mythology actually had the Kraken and whatnot. But the Greek myth, or the actual Greek mythology of Perseus saving Princess Andromeda at the time, was from a monster known as the Cetus, which in Latin means whale, but it was an actual Greek monster during Greek times, or Greek myth. And they really, they had to switch it up because, well, this kind of creature would not look very well menacing the city of Argus. I mean, the Greek, or according to the Greek myth, I don't even think it was Argus that was actually the target. It was a different, kingdom. But they called it Argus in this one, so we're going by the movie. We're not going to go by the actual myth. But objectively, I would give this movie, I would give it a 8 out of 10. Well, actually, no. Objectively, I would give it a 3.5 out of 5. So that would make it a 7 out of 10. This movie is just above a pass. Even with the shitty Medusa special effects, I honestly thought it was good enough to get a pass. Now, subjectively, I think it is a 5 out of 5. I absolutely loved it. It had the campiness in it that kind of brought levity to the situation, but it also had dire seriousness as well. Mads Mikkelsen in this movie was freaking awesome as Draco. Both the original and the remake aren't faithful. Clash of the Titans story is a combination of multiple Greek stories. You're absolutely right. It's a mix of the story of Perseus and Medusa and how he was actually trying to return home with the head of Medusa, but he saw Queen Andromeda or Princess Andromeda being sacrificed, and it was actually Poseidon that made the curse, not Hades. So yeah. But Mads Mikkelsen, man, playing the royal guard that was sent with Perseus, how he is just he's helping Perseus, but he also beats the shit out of him because he's like, your pride's killing my men. You were given gifts. Use them. And the performances of the actors that were in this movie were just that good. Mads Mikkelsen, he plays great characters. I have not seen him play a bad character yet. I honestly haven't. In the movies that I've seen him in, Doctor Strange, Clash of the Titans, there was a Bond movie I've seen him in, plus many others. Oh. And but yeah, is pretty much awesome in most of his films. Yes, you're absolutely right, Soul Assassin. Now, if more people actually want to come in, I can drop the link for the StreamYard in the chat. So if you guys want to come in, just let me know after I do or finish up the discussion, because I only got 90 minutes left on my StreamYard. So we're not going to make this any longer than a 90-minute stream. But yeah, I'm going to set her off again. The Alexa actress with that name, her last name is Davalos. I've seen her in 1 or 2 other movies. Chronicles of Riddick was the only other movie I had seen her in at the time when I saw Clash of the Titans for the first time. So I've only seen her in maybe 1 or 2 other pieces since then. You might like Mads and Valhalla Rising. I'll have to look for it. But yeah, she actually, as limited as her role is in this movie, she actually carries a grace and a wisdom to her, where she's a very caring princess. She actually cares for the people, and she understands that if you provoke the gods, you're going to piss them off to the point where there's going to be consequences. How you doing, Gelf? Good to see you. We're talking Clash of the Titans and Wrath of the Titans. And Cassiopeia, the queen, her mother, and Cepheus, the father. Well, Cepheus was actually smart in one way. He's like, honey, you're making a spectacle. When she said, we are the gods now, it's like, yeah, I wouldn't do that. But it was too late. She already opened her mouth. And we all know, or if you've seen the movies, you all know how it happens. Hades comes down, wreaks a little bit of havoc, and he's like, what's more beautiful than death? And then he ages the queen, or Cassiopeia, to a haggard old lady. And it's like, perfectly done. The Stygian witches were a decent touch. They had a little person and two big people play the three witches, the ones that control the eye, that see what is to come and whatnot. I thought that scene was pretty good. Sam Worthington, when he's in an intense film or an intense role, that's where he shines. That is where he actually is at his best. Also, I swear to God, man, if the Old Republic games, especially Rise of the Eternal Empire and Fall, or the Eternal Throne and whatnot, if those stories ever came out, they should have had Sam Worthington as Arkin and Thexan, because he would have just been the perfect choice. But back to the game, or back to the movies. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked. The climax of Clash was interesting. I would have preferred it if they had the alternate ending where he actually challenges Zeus. He actually goes to Olympus and strikes the sword into the middle of Olympus and says, and tells Zeus basically to shove it. But also they had Luke Evans in there as Apollo, which was a great thing. They actually have an alternate scene where it's not Zeus that visits Perseus to give him the Medusa or the gold coin. It's actually Apollo, and it's just well done. It's like, careful how you speak to me. Only one of us is mortal, and it's just beautiful acting. I wish they had kept that in, because you see, or the only problem is some of the acting was very contradictory. You see the wisdom of Liam Neeson's Zeus at the end of the movie, but you also see the wrath of Zeus in the beginning. So it's like, have I heard his prayers? This son has no love of me, so why should I care about him? But yet he does give gifts to Perseus, the sword and the Pegasus. So it's a very contradictory game that the gods were playing. Now, Wrath of the Titans was also a good movie. However, they couldn't get Davalos back to play Andromeda, so they had Rosamund Pike play her. And Rosamund Pike was a blonde in this movie, where Davalos was a brunette in the last movie. So it's like, Andromeda, there should be a little more consistency there. So it's nothing against Rosamund Pike's acting chops. Subjectively and objectively, if you're trying to make a consistent story, you need to have the same actors and actresses. So objectively, Wrath of the Titans, actually, I will put at a 3 out of 5, which is just under a pass. Because they also have they have what's known as repetitive scene, where they're fighting the Cyclops. You see a chubbier Cyclops pull out his thing and go, ah. And you see it again just before Perseus is about to stab another Cyclops. So it's like, yeah, you're recycling scenes. They did it twice, especially with the scene where Kronos is at the end of the second movie. There's a scene where Kronos gets knocked back, and you can see him lifting up his head, furrowing his brow, opening his mouth. Then you see Perseus on the Pegasus with the Spear of Trium trying to get to him, and you see that very same movement, but shorter. First day back at work, driving after the crash and trying my hardest not to have a panic attack or puke my guts up. Sorry to hear that, man. PTSD is not something that I take lightly, so do what you have to, to stay calm, man. I'm sorry to hear that you were in a crash too. Apple. Ugh. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, Wrath of the Titans. I do like the extended lore that they added to Clash with Wrath. They brought Kronos in. They brought freaking Hephaestus, played by the brilliant actor Bill Nye. This guy can play so many great characters. He played Victor in the Underworld series. He Shaun of the Dead. He played, oh my gosh, to name a bunch of his films would take up all 90 minutes. So yeah, I mean, he just played excellent. He played Hephaestus in this one, and he played the wily, insane god very well. It's like, it's not them. Yeah. Oh gosh, man. Where he has to talk to himself, he plays a craziness. It's just so freaking funny. I mean, one of my favorite scenes in Wrath of the Titans, subjectively, Wrath of the Titans is 4 out of 5. The inconsistency with the actresses playing Andromeda bothered me a little bit, but not too much. But yeah, I did like the Hephaestus scenes very much. Especially, he's like, "We need your help to rescue Zeus so he can stop Kronos." That's the plan, is it? Yeah. Right then. Right. Well, in that case, we'd best prepare for what? The end of the bloody world. Kronos will dismantle the Earth. You'll be scattered across the universe. Fantastic. I mean, freaking Bill Nye, it's like he has Tourette's in his acting, where he always does those little, and all those different sounds and the ticks and whatnot. I mean, if he actually does have Tourette's, it's not a problem. It's just interesting. But oh my gosh, he just plays his role so freaking great. And then when he actually has to get serious, when he's talking with Andromeda, when Andromeda kind of reminds him of Aphrodite, you could tell that he gets very serious. He's like, "Oh my dear, you remind me of someone, Aphrodite. She was my wife." And then when he actually meets his end to Ares, it sucks. Now, the guy who plays Ares, I can't remember his name, but I only seen him in like one movie other than Wrath of the Titans, and that was Zero Dark 30, which I'm also going to have to get sometime because I actually like that movie too. That being said, I thought the person who played Ares was very well done. I mean, there was a couple of digital mishaps, or that could have been touched up a little bit better. I mean, he truly played a God of War that was really worth praise. When he lands and two Argus soldiers, one guy throws a knife at him, he just catches it and throws it at the other guy and back of him on the other side. It's like, yeah, that's a God of War that I wouldn't want to mess with. His Warhammer that he had, or basically it was like a mace, is pretty cool. I like how they brought in Hades' pitchfork, the trident of Poseidon, and Zeus's thunderbolt to make the spear of Triumph. I don't know if that's an actual thing in Greek mythology or if it was just something done for this movie, but I still think it was very interesting concept that they did. Wasn't Ares the guy from John Carter of Mars? No, he didn't play John Carter, I know that, but it was not the same guy that I'm thinking of. I'm actually going to get his name, pull his name up, and then I'm actually going to look at his filmography because we got a lot of time. Now, I sent GFan84 a link because he actually wanted to come up on this. So let's see if he actually shows up. But yeah. Wrong one. Ah. Had something yucky in my mouth. Let's go to a different window. Thank you. There we go. Now let's Wrath Not Watath, Wrath. I have fat finger syndrome for my phone. The Titan cast. Yeah, alrighty. Edgar Ramirez played Ares, yeah. Toby Kebbell played Agenor, which was pretty cool. Joan Bell, Ralph Fiennes, Danny Houston. Yeah, Danny Houston as Poseidon was interesting. I mean, you don't really see him Poseidon cut loose in this movie. I'm going back to my movie review. Have a happy day, Orange Eye. Thank you, Happy Dinosaur. Take it easy and good luck on your review. But yeah, Edgar Ramirez. Let's see if I can pull up any of his acting chops. The Last Days of an American Crime, An American Crime Story, Find Your Breaking Point, Point Break, Versace, Bright, Wrath of the Titans. Oh, I know he played in Zero Dark 30, so yeah, he's mostly played in movies that I have not heard of. Well, he was in The Bourne Ultimatum. I'm actually going to watch the Bourne series today after I'm done streaming. But yes, he was in Zero Dark 30 and whatnot. So yeah, Edgar Ramirez was Ares, and I thought he did a very good job. And the fight between Perseus and Ares in the Temple of the Gods was actually one of the most brutal things I've ever seen. And I gotta say, they did it very well. So, I mean, they were just busting heads right through pillars, rock, crashing heads through rock. I mean, it was just it shows you the brutality of Ares. And Ares, as a Greek god, is brutal. He is war incarnate, basically. He slaughters all who oppose him. And the God of War Ares from the God of War games, I thought he was just as brutal. I mean, he's slaughtering a place, and then he realizes, oh, wait, Krotos just came out with Pandora's box. Well, better end his life, and he just grabs a freaking wooden pillar and just launches it. But yeah, the God of War Ares is just, this God of War Ares, Edgar Ramirez, this is at the time where their powers are waning. So just imagine how powerful he would have been at full strength. He would have laid waste to the army that was sent to hold back Kronos' forces. He could have done it single-handedly. But, yeah. Now, Rosamund Pike as Andromeda instead of Davos as Andromeda, I'm kind of curious as how Davos would do as Andromeda in Wrath, because I thought she was very good in Riddick, the Chronicles of Riddick. He was Bodhi in the Point Break remake, I believe. I have no idea. I have never seen Point Break, the original, or the remake. There's a lot of movies I haven't seen, and there's a lot of movies I have seen. But thank you for the information, Soul Assassin. Now, Davalos, I can't say her name because it would set off my Echo Dot. But yeah, I thought she was did very well in Chronicles of Riddick. But I would have liked to see her in Wrath of the Titans, because as good as Rosamund Pike was, I feel that we would have seen it would have been more consistent to have Davalos in Wrath. I mean, don't get me wrong, Pike is a good actress, but we just need some positive to get over my being pissed at people. Yeah, I hear you, Jesse. There's been a lot of negative going on out there, so I'm gonna keep positive in here. Now, as I was saying, Rosamund Pike is a great actress. Don't get me wrong. It's just that I think that the casting choice for Wrath of the Titans was done poorly in her case. I mean, she can do a queen well, but I mean, she did a sword fighting role in one of the Pierce Brosnan or Bond films, but it's like, eh, I would have liked her better in a different, or I would have liked to see Alexa Davalos in there. Never mind. There you go. Yeah, like I said, saying that name, bad idea in here. Anywho, I did like the design of the Chimera for Wrath of the Titans. That was actually a design that was pretty interesting. It's not like the goat, the lion, and the snake. I mean, yes, there is a snake in it, and it has a very interesting looking head. And I'm like, yikes, that is a very sinister looking head. The creature design for this movie was just great. As those or I can't remember what they called, the double person creatures where their backs were linked. So it's like two torsos back to back on one set of legs that were Kronos' armies. Ralph Fiennes and Liam Neeson truly shone in this movie as their godly selves, where you actually see them cut loose even at their weakened state. Now, Kronos, the idea of how Kronos was, how he was like full of lava and all that, I'm like, what would he have looked like before he was that, you know? I always wondered, because I don't see the Titans as like elemental. I see them as something more, because they were the very first divine entities. So it would have been interesting. Now, the idea of the gods also having magma kind of like for blood and ichor was also interesting. Oh, excuse me. There were deleted scenes in the movie that I really liked. Yes, Ralph Fiennes was the one that played Hades. And he played Voldemort, and he played in several other villainous characters too. And I think he does a good job. I mean, Ralph Fiennes, he's a good method actor. And he really shines in villainous roles. The only heroic role I've ever seen, or the only other movies I've seen him in besides the Harry Potter movies and this, or in the Titans movies, was the Avengers movie, not the MCU Avengers, but the British Avengers with Uma Thurman and Sean Connery. Zeus and Hades casting were really good. Yes, they were. And as small of a role as Poseidon was in both Clash and Wrath, Danny Huston did a very good job. For those of you who don't know who Danny Huston is, he's played in movies like X-Men Origins Wolverine. He played Stryker. He's played in several other small bit parts. I mean, the guy is a great actor. He's got the angst for good roles. And I truly think that he did a very good job as Poseidon in this movie and in Clash of the Titans, even if it was just a very, very small role. I thought they both did good in the movie. Indeed, they both did. I mean, the scene of them in the tent where Hades gives Zeus his last chance was it was witty banter that was just very good. He's like, death was circling you. I only had enough power to chase it away this once. And he's like, you look 10,000 years younger, and feel it. It was just such great stuff, man. We have enough power to put on a little display like in the old days. He's like, yeah, let's have some fun, you know? I mean, to see them cut loose and to give a bit of a chance, because otherwise, if it wasn't for them, they honestly, or the army against Kronos would not have won. I mean, they would not, or they would have been decimated. So it does suck that Zeus dies, but it kind of makes sense because this movie does have them all dying off. And how they become sand and just dust off is also interesting. I wasn't really sure of the digital dust offs, but you know what? It is what it is. The movie does come below a pass, like I said, objectively speaking. Now, subjectively, like I said, I would give it a 4 out of 5 because I wasn't really into the Rosamund Pike scene, or the Rosamund Pike as Andromeda. I did like the Minotaur scene, though. The Minotaur scene was good. I mean, to give the Minotaur the ability to kind of glamour or put a glamour over itself and to try to trick Perseus into thinking that it was his son, it was interesting. Tartarus had a way of messing with the mind. And the character of Agenor, I gotta say, he was an interesting character. It's like his introduction, he gets slammed up against the wall and is like, "This looks like a pick." That's not a pick. It's a piece of this to the boat that I need. I need this and that. Yeah. And oh my gosh, man, it's just so great. He was arrested by Andromeda because he asked her hand in marriage. When she refused, he tried to make off with the crown jewels. He was a grave disappointment to Poseidon as a demigod son. But when he is convinced by Perseus to help them, you can see just how serious he can be. And it's like, if my father sent you, I want nothing to do with you. He's like, your father's dead. Gods don't die. They do now. Well, good. Can you do me a favor? Anything? Go to hell. Oh, that's exactly where I'm going. That whole scene between Perseus and Agenor was just so well done. It's a very tense moment, but it's a moment that you know that Perseus is going to win the argument, basically, because he's like, I know that you crave the ocean. Or to be in here, it's like hell for you. And if you help me, you'll basically be freed and whatnot. And it's like, yeah. So he's like, I want a royal pardon. And so Andromeda's like, granted. Oh, I want my body weight in gold. She's like, granted. Oh, what else have I dreamed up here while I was stuck in my cell? And that's when Perseus is like, don't push it. Yeah, it's just so great. But I do really like the Hephaestus scenes. The Hephaestus scenes were my favorite scenes in the movie because Bill Nye is just such a freaking awesome actor. I mean, like, or I did in the beginning when Perseus is trying to convince him, he's like, "That's the plan, is it? Right then, right. Well, in that case, we'd best prepare for what?" And he's like, "The end of the bloody world." Looking at him like, what do you mean for what? We're all dead. The pessimism of Hephaestus was just great. Bill Nye is such a great freaking actor. But yeah, and because I wasn't able to get my co-host or co-panelist in here, I am going to start wrapping it up a little here, right here, folks. But yeah, for the most part, Clash of the Titans and Wrath of the Titans, I honestly did like. The actors that they had for each movie were very well done, except for one or two miscasting choices, in my opinion. To be honest, who would try to get a good deal for saving the world? Who wouldn't try to get a good deal for saving the world? Yeah, true point. Good point there, Soul Assassin. But yeah, folks, objectively, for Clash of the Titans, I'd give it a 3.5, just above a pass. And Wrath of the Titans, I would give it just below a pass. So it's a 3 out of 5. But subjectively, I would give them both 4 out of 5. But moviegoers, where you're not deconstructing the film, both movies I would say are 5 out of 5. They're incredible to watch. They're interesting to watch. And they're very fun to watch. There's funny moments. There's just kind of loose, off-the-cuff moments, which were very good. I prefer the special edition to Clash of the Titans because they have slight alternate scenes, slight alternate takes, which are very good, but that I couldn't find on digital. So I would have to look for it again sometime, or maybe if they ever do make a digital version or a digital release of the special edition, I'll definitely have to look for it. But anyway, folks, I am going to wrap it up here. Thank you all for tuning in. Soul Assassin, Jesse from Let's Talk Star Trek, Happy Dinosaur 8000. Who else did we get in here? Gelf Walker. Who else? Thank you guys for showing up. You guys are all freaking amazing and beautiful people. If you guys can help me try to get 8 more subscribers before the end of tomorrow. Hey, Flipped Out, how you doing? I'm just wrapping up my review stream for Clash and Wrath of the Titans, and I'm just doing my outro. So yes, folks. But thank you for also stopping by, Flipped Out. If you guys could try to get me 8 more subscribers before June 1st, meaning midnight at May 31st at midnight, I will do, or the hat coming off stream will happen at 500 subs. Now, if you guys get me to 500 subs before June 1st, it will also have the embarrassing Q&A, where you can ask me literally any question, no matter how embarrassing or personal, and I will answer it honestly. But only if I get to 500 subs will you get the bonus Q&A. But if you guys get me to 450, I will take the hat off during a live stream to show you why and to show you what's under the hat and why it is a very embarrassing thing for me. Anyway, folks, that will be the stream. Thank you all for showing up. If you're going to catch this on the replay, y'all know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, what you guys thought of it, of both Clash and Wrath of the Titans. How would you rate it? What did you like? What didn't you like? All that stuff. Anyway, folks, this has been Orange Hat Reviews. Stay humble.